live right now on the Hidden Power podcast Twitter page, where we post all rumors, all Pokemon rumors and leaks. So we got a new Nintendo Direct rumor. It's surfaced and it details the Pokemon Presents. I'm sorry, the July Nintendo Direct. And it's going to potentially, this thing details that there's going to be classic Pokemon games coming to NSO, which is
Does it give a date?
It says date of Direct July 10th.
Oh, so that'd be 2 days from now. That's
Yeah.
wild.
That's big. All right, so the Direct actually opens with Five Nights at Freddy. I'm going to skip by some of this and really just talk about the Pokemon stuff because there's a lot of things that we just...
There's so much here.
Just not relevant to this particular channel where we talk about Pokemon rumors and leaks and speculation. All right. So Five Nights at Freddy, big moment up next. Miyamoto introduces the Direct, revealing the Mario's 40th anniversary logo, saying they have many celebrations planned for the Red Plumber, including a first teaser of a brand new Mario Sunshine game. Wow.
That would be huge.
That's honestly...
People would lose their minds over that.
That's cool. Mario Sunshine, the ultimate sun or something. I was playing Mario Strikers on my Switch 2, and it's so cool. And I'm like, oh, shoot, there's going to be so many other GameCube games just released for Switch 2 for the Nintendo Switch Online, the GameCube collection. So that's cool because Sunshine's going to be on there. Oh, dude, that's actually pretty exciting, a remake. All right, so the trailer starts. I'm just reading this one because I care about Mario. The trailer starts with the camera panned to the sun slowly going down and showing flood on a beach, presumably Island Delfino, and it ends with a 2026 fade out. You can also see Shadow Mario faintly in the background. All right, no new info. That's just literally stuff ripped from the first game. Maybe it's a remake rather than a sequel, but Mario Kart World will announce its first big 2.0 update. Okay. Themed around Donkey Kong Bonanza. Damn, that's kind of cool to think that like Mario Kart World would just continually be added every single time there's a big first-party Nintendo game. Content from that game gets added to Mario Kart, and then all of a sudden that $80 price tag doesn't seem too crazy if you get updates literally for the next 2 years. You know,
well, they have in the game this thing too, where like you'll be driving around. If you eat food from like different worlds, you'll kind of turn into like a version of your character for that world.
That's
like,
fun.
Like I play as Yoshi. That's who I main. And when you eat food like on the island, Yoshi gets like a little scuba diving uniform or whatever. So I think like the idea is they could easily incorporate that and go like, oh, well now if you're Donkey Kong and you eat food in this world, you turn into this version of Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Bonanza. And if you do it as Pauline, you turn to this because they're both in that game,
Kong Bonanza.
Dude, that's so much fun. Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, and King K. Rool. All right, that's pretty cool. Genshin
that's another
Impact
thing too is Diddy Kong isn't in yet, and that's like one of those characters that like should be,
Yeah, maybe they're gonna announce him like in a later. I mean, the game's not out yet, so I feel like that could be like a secret character or something. Continuing, apparently this new Nintendo Direct is gonna. I'm sorry about my congestion, guys. The new Nintendo Direct is gonna talk about a Genshin Impact coming to Switch 2. Finally, it says the next up, huge segment where Sakurai takes center stage. He talks about that's the creator of like Smash Brothers. He talks about how he never takes a break and says he's actually here to show 2 projects. The first one obviously being Kirby Air Ride. All right, so we get a full trailer for that, and then City Trial. Okay, as expected. All right. That's it. I guess that's all it really says. Oh, no. Then he acknowledges, we all know what we want to see. The screen fades one more time. Oh, my God. Revealing Smash Ultimate Switch 2 Edition. Okay, it's not as new. Okay, that's believable.
It's just a Switch 2 Edition.
That's all time.
That is so believable, though. Like, I mean, that has to be coming down the pipeline.
The part definitely is, I would say. But.
Includes a brand new fighter pass with 5 characters. This time they are all revealed at once, except for one that he wants to hide for a later date. The trailer shows Gino, the Ring Fit trainer. Oh my God, yeah, that's what we've been waiting for. The Ring Fit trainer. Shadow the Hedgehog, and finally the Fun Gang. Deltarune's main party of 3, I believe, as one. Okay, so maybe like it functions like the Pokemon trainer. releases early 2026. Okay, I could see that. Atlas.
The last one's Waluigi. Mark my words.
Yeah, we need it. We need it.
Finally, Waluigi.
Persona 3 Reload and Metaphor on Switch 2. Now for the weird ones. Nintendo announces Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for Nintendo Switch 2 as an HD release. They already did that. All right. The gimmick is that they've been reworked so that the galaxies from both games are all playable from Comet Observatory. That's kind of cool. So it's just one giant game, like a DX. That's kind of cool. Pokemon, I would love to see that for Pokemon Black and White and then Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, right? Both games, same world. That's awesome. Pokemon Director then shows up, reminding people to watch the presents taking place on the 22nd. It's followed by a quick teaser of the legendaries from Black and White shouting, then fades to black. Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, and Emerald. No Ruby and Sapphire, weirdly. All like, announced for Nintendo Switch Online.
Fake right there. That's where you can call it fake.
I think...
that? There's so much in this that's fake.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, like, right there, if you couldn't yet, that's it.
They said no Ruby or Sapphire, weirdly enough, announced for NSO. That doesn't mean it might not be on NSO. Maybe it's just a thing
I don't mean because they said no Ruby and Sapphire. I mean because
Pokemon ports exist.
The Pokemon, no, not even that, but Pokemon ports
coming.
being announced in a Nintendo Direct versus a Pokemon Presents, there is no freaking way.
I don't know, man. I can see it. They did it already with. They already did it with Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness. I know those are different
that's
games.
Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness.
Coming to NSO. But it's coming to NSO.
Game.
It's coming to NSO. And maybe we get more information.
NSO.
Maybe we get more information in the Pokemon Presents where they're like, and this works with Pokemon Home. You know, and XD Gale of Darkness works with Pokemon Home.
I don't know. I really, for one, I feel like they'll save it for one. Okay, for one, I don't think it's NSO, but I'm not as hard on that point. I think it'll be like a release collection or whatever. For two, I'm like, dude, man, I'd like stake everything on it. It's gonna be in a Pokemon Presents if it's gonna happen. And for three, I honestly feel like it wouldn't just be a Pokemon Presents. It'd be the Pokemon Presents that we're about to get in, you know what, 7 months. That is going to be about the 30th anniversary of these games, you know?
Yeah. But maybe they're trying to push, because like if these old games, like here's the thing, they just launched a new system. That's the priority. They're trying to get people to get the new system in preparation for the new games that are coming out in 2026 for Pokemon. Oh, we just had someone pop in.
Hey, Kenzie.
I was like, wait.
Kenzie, we're live right now on Twitch. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome.
Hey, guys.
No, you're good. You're good.
How do I get out of here?
He just pressed the button.
He said, I just need to leave right now.
It's at the bottom. There's a red hang up button.
There's disconnect is
hope
what
you're
I'll
having
say
a
when
good
you
day,
hover
man.
over it.
That's our short form video editor.
Awesome.
Yeah, I feel like this is weird, but it's not weird enough. Like, it's weird. Maybe it's not my preference. Like, I think I would prefer Red, Blue, and Yellow to just be purchasable games. But also, I think by putting core Pokemon games on NSO, that like almost guarantees a ton of new players to have NSO for presumably the rest of the lifespan of the Nintendo Switch. Like, I don't think it's a bad business decision. I just think it's it's not my preference as a 31-year-old man, you know? Like, I'd prefer to own the games.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad bad business decision necessarily. I think it's not. Pokemon is so picky when it comes to their brand, and for the record, rightfully so. That's their baby, right? But I don't think that this is how they'd want it to go. You know, like I just don't think this is in line with what Pokemon's vision has been for these games for the past however many years.
I understand. No, I understand.
You know,
I do think what's weird is that Red, Blue, and Yellow and Emerald being announced is so weird. Yeah. And I almost think, I'm like, does that mean we're getting a Johto game?
Right. No Gold, Silver, Crystal.
So
no,
weird.
You know, also, honestly, kind of weird. No Fire Red, Leaf Green even, you know?
Yeah.
If you're going to give us Emerald, you know, why would you not give us more?
I guess that's why I'm saying, like...
we need Fire Red, Leaf Green more than red, blue, and yellow.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, exactly.
I guess that's why, like, I think this maybe makes sense because it's weird enough. And I feel like if this person who's relaying this information only saw the trailer, maybe all they did in this direct is say, like, classic Pokemon games are coming to Switch, you know? That's all they're saying. They're just saying, like, oh, they're coming, and we showed these 4 titles. But when you watch the Pokemon Presents, there's a full breakdown about all of it and how it's all going to work, and maybe it connects with Home, and now Pokemon Coliseum and XD Go Darkness can work with Home. Like, what? Like, everyone's always like, oh, it doesn't work. It's never connected with Home. If they want to make it connect, they can make it connect. And I feel like, my point is, they would want, like, if these classic games are coming to Switch 2, they're going to want to show it off in a Nintendo Direct to people who play all of these other games who don't play Pokemon as much, but they're like, oh, I love red, blue, and yellow. I got to get that on my NSO, you know? Got to get that on my Nintendo Switch too. Or someone's watching it like, shoot, that's just one more little thing that I'm excited to play. I'm going to buy a Switch 2. I haven't bought a Switch 2 yet, but I'm going to buy a Switch 2. You know?
Maybe.
What if it's
I
a
still
Pokemon
feel
app?
like-
What if it's a Pokemon app like you're saying? What if it's a Pokemon app? What if it's not? Like, all of these Pokemon games are now a NSO dedicated Pokemon player or like a Pokemon app, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like
that makes
they
sense.
definitely say it in a direct, but I feel like, if anything, the best move would be, like, reveal it in a Presents, then kind of remind in a direct, I guess. I don't know. I'm like... I would honestly, I'd be upset. I'd be like, why'd you take this from Pokemon? This is like the reveal that everyone begs for. I mean, Dusty, we got on our bingo board that you're going to get excited about ports when they're not coming, you know?
We're going to get it. We're going to get it. We're going to get it.
It is like such just a big thing we want. And so to kind of, when there's a Pokemon Presents in 2 weeks and you're just going to, you know, kneecap it and, you know, take something from it, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more
I don't
thing
think-
that... Oh, sorry, Soul. What's up?
No, I don't think that this will ever happen like this. But I do agree with you, Dusty, in that they could reveal things in a Nintendo Direct in that sense. Like, it's not that impossible, Lumi, where it's
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have a Switch 2, and like this could push people over the edge, you know?
Sure.
People are as nostalgic for red, blue, and yellow as they are the original Mario or whatever, right? Like,
Well, but if it's Game Boy Advance, then that would be Switch 1 as well.
I know, but
Only GameCube is Switch 2.
But my point is if they're making a big deal to show off all these Pokemon games, I could see them just having like, it's the Nintendo Switch NSO, like instead of having like the, you know, the Game Boy on the like on the cover of the app on my Switch dashboard, it's Pikachu
Sure.
on the cover of, you know, the red background app. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a Pokemon player. It's a Pokemon machine that you know, I don't know. It makes sense.
But
to me.
would it be
No, it
Switch
makes
2
sense.
And
exclusive?
anything in there, and the way they would do it is like anything in there you can transfer to Pokemon Home, and that would maybe then exclude XD Gale of Darkness and Coliseum, which would suck,
Would it
whatever.
Would it include Switch 2? Or would it be exclusive to Switch 2?
I think so. I think
feel like they will get so much backlash if they do
that's
that.
the new
because it's like,
console. That's the
you
new
said
console.
that the Game Boy Advance games are on the Switch 1, and now you're taking some of
But
them
it's
and locking them to
Pokemon.
the Switch 2. You know,
Yeah,
I
I don't know.
agree. Look, I have a Switch 2, so I won't be one of the ones complaining. I'm just saying, like, realistically, they would get a lot of backlash for that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
yeah.
There's one more thing, and then we can move on. But like, we haven't talked about this, but like, it says followed by a quick teaser of the legendaries from Black and White. What is Reshiram and Zekrom doing there?
Well, I mean, yesterday on Twitter, the TCG posted a video, a brand new animation of Zekrom and Reshiram. Then the main Twitter account posted a clip from the anime of Reshiram and Zekrom.
But what
and,
is-
the captions were nothing. They were just like
But
It's
what-
just
but
for
no,
the
no, no, no.
TCG set, though, right?
No.
Yeah, I think that's what
no,
it's
no,
about.
no. This is the same line. We just overlooked this. Pokemon Director then shows up, reminding people to watch the presents taking place on the 22nd. It's followed by a quick teaser of the legendaries from Black and White, shouting, then fades to black, Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, and Emerald, all announced for NSO. That's the same bullet line. What are those legendaries doing there? I feel like there really is. They're just flash in the pan, showing off a bunch of things about the classic Pokemon games. They announce Red, Blue, and Yellow and Emerald, and then I think on the Pokemon Day Presents, or on the Pokemon Presents on the 22nd, that's when they could give us a full trailer detailing all of these games that will be coming to Switch 2, or maybe just the Switch consoles or whatever.
I don't know. I will say, if this is like chronological order, this is a weird trailer.
I know,
like,
that's
gonna
what
show
I'm
the
saying, it's
legendaries
weird.
roaring, and then it fades to black, and we're all like, "What does this mean? What does it mean?"
But
Because
assuming
you
this is
wanted
fake,
Pokemon Red on the Nintendo Switch, like
it's
what?
so weird. But if we're assuming it's fake, if you don't want to like assume this is real, why would like someone would have had to create this? This is not a wish list. This is weird enough to be correct.
I feel like it's weird enough to where they're saying, I think it's weird because they want it to seem correct, because they know that this is such a wild call. So like, let me, it's like one of those things where here's some advice to all you want to write up a fake leak. If you're going to go wild, go so wild that it's like, well,
Livio's
this is too crazy to
consulting.
not be real. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh my god.
There's like a barrier, right? Like there's like, you stay below the line and you're safe. You go into a line where it's so crazy it just
Yeah.
writes like fan fiction. And then you go past the line where you went so crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this can't even be fan fiction. This is so insane. It no one could have wrote this,
Oh, I want it so bad, dude. I want it so bad. All right.
We can't tell.
Let's move on. Wild announcement here. Captain Toad returns. The trailer starts with him grabbing the turnips. The camera zooms out as he tosses them in a wagon to take home. All right.
Nice.
Captain Toad's Power Star Garden. All right. Actually, wait.
We've all been asking for that.
Online co-op.
There is one more
dungeons
line.
with Toadette. That's kind of cool. All right. Paper Mario Peculiar Pencils is announced. Who wrote this? Jake Steinberg?
Come on.
Peculiar
Right, that was
Pencils? The game
Peculiar
features no partners, no level up system, white outlines on every character, Toads as the prominent characters, and features a pencil-based combat system where you use a pencil to draw your desired action in battle. That's kind of cool. Using the mouse controls, but can also work with motion or drawing with your hand. That's kind of cool. I like that. That's 2026. That sounds fun. Metroid segment, Prime 4 gets a new trailer, release date October 30th. Write that down, Soul. Prime 2 and 3 gets a re-release, but it's not as good looking as
totally
Prime
believe
1 and
this.
2. Shadow
I
drops,
totally believe all of this.
and Prime 3 gets released August 7th. Footage is shown of the next SpongeBob SquarePants video game by Purple Lamp Studios. SpongeBob and Patrick
Roll credits.
are the two playable characters in this Souls-like adventure in a pineapple under this. I'm just making that part up. The game heavily features the Flying Dutchman and releases in December as a tie-in to the Search for SquarePants movie. Sizzle reel, more exciting than usual. Nintendo games, yada yada yada. Xenoblade, Pikmin 3, Mario Wonder, Sonic Superstars, Silk Song, Sonic Frontier, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Whoa, Minecraft and more. Hold on. Nintendo games getting free updates as well as third parties. Pokemon Sword and Shield getting a free update. That's kind of cool.
That would be neat.
I want that so bad.
That would be
That's
neat.
why this isn't real.
Dude, that's kind of real, man. That sounds awesome. That sounds
I
awesome.
might buy Switch 2 if that happened.
Dude, it would be
It
like, would it be 4K? Like it's gonna look a lot nicer. All right, Splatoon Raiders gets shown with a full-blown trailer. It's basically a survival game. Let's see what else. The one more thing is the reveal of the Earthbound Claymation remake and Mother 3 finally coming to GBA NSO outside of Japan. Toby Fox will be involved with the project. That's the rumor. What do you guys think?
I think a lot of people in our chat have said something really good, and that's that Animal Crossing seems to be a really consistent theme along.
Sure, I've heard.
like, other people talking about, hey, there's a July Direct. It seems pretty consistent that they're all feeling Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So it does seem weird that that's missing. It's weird that this went the completely opposite direction of everything else we've had rumors. Nothing about the Coliseum, like they're gonna drop Red and Blue, but not Coliseum, which is already promised to us.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, that's so dumb. That makes
Um,
no sense.
It's I don't know. This one reads like pure fan fiction, and don't get me wrong, I like the fan fiction. I want to live in this world, but I don't think it's. I don't
A
think
lot
it's
of
our
it is
world.
kind of bad fan fiction, though.
Yeah,
isn't
some
it?
of
You
it-
think
some of
what
it-
do you guys not like about the fan fiction? I think there's a lot of cool things in here. The Peculiar
There's cool
Pencils
things.
sounds
It just-
really fun.
Very
Peculiar Pencils doesn't sound like a real name at all.
No, I
Kind
can
of.
see that as a real
Sticker
name.
stars.
Peculiar Pencils.
I could
can't
totally
say
see that's
that.
a real name.
Nah, all us Southerners gonna struggle with that one, man.
Peculiar.
You know?
Yeah.
That's fine.
But also too, I don't know. I just don't think it seems super realistic. And if I am honest, in terms of what I wouldn't like from this, while I don't believe it will happen, it is also true that I would be so upset if they make these games NSO. I want them to get their own like thing. Honestly, in a perfect world, I don't think this will happen. But in a perfect world, they do it like they did Mario's Anniversary, where they gave us Sunshine Galaxy and something else all in one. 64. And they would like go like, there's a physical thing I can buy at my GameStop. That is, it's got, you know, artwork on it and all, and it is in there. There's one little card, but that one little card has on it, you know, Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Emerald, Sapphire, whatever. I don't know how many it would stick. I'd buy if they did one per gen and they did the first 3 gens, I'd buy all 3. You know, like,
Damn,
but I want
that's
something physical.
expensive.
I know it is.
I would buy
is.
it too. I would buy it too.
I doubt it would be, you know.
But I
I
think
doubt it would be like $80. You know, I would.
Yeah.
I think that
How much was the Mario one?
I think the thing though is it's probably cheaper for, I don't know. I just feel like it does feel convenient. As much as I want these physical games, I do think making them digital, and I'm making this part up, but making like a Pokemon app on NSO, right, that I can download and have all my games right there, it does the same thing, and it's something that, like, I don't know, Soul, you'll say like, I don't get the higher tier NSO because I don't want to pay for it, but like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are in your boat, but would pay for it if you got all the Pokemon games, you know? And like, it does cost money. I pay for it though because it's worth it, because I'm like, I get all these free games that I can play whenever I want. You know, it's like $50 a year or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like
I
it
can't
ends up being worth it
find
for
the
me. And
price
if
of
every
this.
Pokemon game's there, it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be cheaper for the consumer, right? So for everyone who's complaining about the price of like Nintendo stuff, that would be cheaper for the consumer. And I just feel like they don't want to put out every game on shelves because it actually distracts. Like, you know, we talk crap about the quality of Pokemon games, but like visually from the average person, for the average person, visually seeing red, blue, and yellow, like buying that for your kid, having them open it up, right? Just because they saw Charizard on the box, they open it up and it's red, blue, and yellow. Having that next to, you know, whatever the latest Legends EA or Gen 10 game is going to be, like, I don't think it's really on the same caliber. It is in our minds, but it's not really. Like, these old games really are just downloadable games, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with what you're saying. I just don't want that. And I definitely don't want, because the one thing I don't agree with is like having to pay yearly for them. Like, I just want to own them. So that's the hardest thing. So I would say like a collection would be the best idea. But
yeah,
But
I get you.
Nintendo is
Who knows?
moving that way. Remember that thing they said where it was like, you don't own your games, we're like licensing you to play those games or whatever.
100%. And
I mean, listen,
And
we're in the
they wanna
streaming
make
era.
more
It's been like
money.
that for 20 years.
yeah, and they want to make more money. Like, they could sell us one thing, you know, like one time, but they're like, why would we do that when we can force them to to like
Hey, that's every day for it.
yeah, pay us longer. You know what I mean? So
What's up, Egan Media? Hope you're doing well, man.
what's up?
Overall,
I can't find the price of Super Mario 3D All Stars. I tried to find, that's the bundle. I was trying to find it to kind of give us an idea of what it's priced at.
Yeah.
But I did not remember this, but it was a limited release. So currently I'm seeing them for as much as $30,000 on eBay.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to get that. And if one of y'all gives him that, I try not to judge, but I'm judging.
Listen, this is a pretty cool rumor. I would not be mad if it was fake. I think overall, even minus the Pokemon stuff, I mean, yeah, the NSO stuff is cool. The classic Pokemon ports are cool. I do like to see, this is kind of overlooked. We didn't even post about it in our recap on Twitter, but like Sword and Shield Switch 2 edition, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That would be really neat.
I would be happy with this whole thing. The thing is, we don't play these games, right? So a lot of them we don't play, but for the Pokemon stuff, I'd be happy with it except for the ports, and I'd be a little sad about it. But I would take it for the Sword and Shield Switch 2 edition.
Another one of my takeaways
too. Go ahead.
I feel like as an owner of Switch 2, all of these things are relevant to me because I have the ability now to just buy the game to play any of these games. Like, if I didn't have a Switch 2, I'd be like, okay, well, my mindset would be, I'm not interested in anything because I don't even have the system. That's how I function with like PlayStation and Xbox. I don't have the system.
Right.
So why would I care about whatever games are going to come out? But I have the system. So I'm looking at all these games as options. Like I'm at a new restaurant and I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, oh, look at all these cool games I could be playing in 2026. That's fun.
100%.
Yeah, I have Smash and I never play Smash.
Yeah.
But if there's an
Yeah,
updated version, that would be kind of cool to pick up.
That does
I
make
bought
sense.
it, sold it.
But see, even with things like that, I feel like they would want to release a Smash for the Nintendo Switch 2 at some point. And so I feel like it could maybe get a little muddy by making this one basically a Nintendo Switch 2 game and then releasing a Nintendo Switch 2 game. Because you're going to make more money from making a new Smash than you are a Nintendo Switch 2 version of a Smash. Also,
100%.
I feel like Smash, though, is so specific, and it's like, I don't really know, but the Smash heads, the comments I see, it's a very specific, it's like a well-crafted game where, what's his name, Sakurai is like, hand-picking every single thing. It is a product, but like, it feels like a work. I feel like people talk about it like it's a work of art and not an easy lift to just create another one, right?
100%.
It would require
sure,
a lot of
but
resources. And also, by making Smash Ultimate, what's beyond Smash Ultimate? Smash Ultimate +1? Like
yes.
I feel like they just have to, like, it does make sense to release the game and just
Smash Unlimited.
and just make it look a little bit prettier and just give us a couple new characters. That it would be exciting, and I think would rejuvenate.
Infinity.
Yeah, Smash Infinity. That's kind of cool. So,
Oh my god, that's a good name, Lumi. There you go.
yeah,
Get higher.
For what it's worth,
I gotta make a rumor
Nate,
now.
Nate the Hate, that's kind of like the guy on this kind of stuff, and he stated last night, quote, "I've certainly not endorsed any claim of a Nintendo Direct happening this week," end quote.
Yeah.
So while that could just be he hasn't heard about it, he doesn't think so.